Peace and blessings. You are live with your girl, Queen Kenya. This is the Soulspiration for this week, and we are going to be talking about relationships. Gonna give myself a few minutes to inhale and exhale. I'm gonna be quick and brief because I'm on my lunch break, y'all, and I've been waiting to do this Soulspiration since last week, but I didn't know the topic was going to be about relationships. It kind of just happened like that today. For whatever reason, the universe is calling out for words on relationships. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into it. Again, peace and blessings to all of you who join in with me. I am always excited to feel your energy, and I hope you feel mine too. Relationships. I just want to talk about, I should have labeled this a little bit better, not just relationships, but romantic relationships, because we're going to be talking about partnership, spouse, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever your thing is, that's what we're talking about today, relationships. I posted something earlier today on Facebook on my personal profile page, and it really was just an expression of truth for myself. And one thing that I know that is very, 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 very important is that when you get into a relationship, you have to define boundaries. You have to define boundaries for yourself. You have to define boundaries for your partner. You have to define boundaries for all those who are outside of your relationship. And a lot of people who are in marriages, some of them have been getting insight or, from other people outside of their relationship. If they are already married or been in a relationship for a long time, people gonna always try to tell you what they think your relationship should be like based on their own experience. Big no-no. Okay? It's always good to get insight from other people, just like you're getting insight from me right now. But I'm just giving you insight from my perspective based upon my own experiences. Does that mean that what I say is written in stone? No, it does not. But it might be helpful for you if you're open enough to receive it and then reflect on it and then apply it to your own situation. But never just take on somebody's perspective as your own if it really doesn't apply. So say, if you're going through some stuff and you're listening to somebody else and you just taking that stuff on like it's yours, don't do that. Hear them, hear it out, filter it through, but know who you are and know your relationship. Okay, I'm trying to get to the meat of this all in quickness, but let me slow down and calm down so I can get what I really need to get because I want to get this out. Okay, so the most realest shit will go down, excuse my French, in a relationship, especially depending upon the two kinds of people who are in the relationship. They say opposites attract. So if you're in a relationship with someone who's totally opposite of you, then there may be a lot of compatibility, but also a lot of friction. And if you're in a relationship with someone that's similar to you, then it's more than likely true that you might, face a whole lot of obstacles or you might be understanding. The most important thing about being in a relationship, number one, is communication. If you can't have communication with your partner, if you're not able to communicate, when I say communicate, I'm not just talking about everyday things. I'm talking about revealing your desires, your aspirations, your fears, things that you're going through from day to day. Just being able to open up and talk to your partner, your spouse about whatever it is. Your spouse is supposed to be your best friend. Fuck what you heard about all that other stuff. Like, I'm just being real and keeping it 100 today. If your partner is not your best friend, that's a problem. Like, people don't understand, because when your partner is not your best friend, then that leaves room for somebody else to come in and be your best friend. Real talk. So I know you might have had a homeboy or a homegirl who you've been cool with like forever, But when it comes time to you being in that relationship with the one, then everybody else needs to take a back seat, because you can't have nobody always in your ear, your homeboy, your homegirl, telling you what to do when the rubber hits the road in your relationship. Yes, they can show compassion for you when you're going through stuff, but and the other thing about that is everybody don't even need to know all your business. Every time you arguing, every time y'all going through stuff, social media has become the platform for venting and people who don't know how to communicate, but all of a sudden they want to communicate and throw out all of their emotions and feelings online. You can't do that when you're in a relationship. You got to be respectful of the other person. You got to be respectful of yourself. You can't just be putting it all out there and then want to generalize it and say, oh, it was just a general statement. It very may well have been just a general statement, but you still got to consider your partner. And the truth of the matter is, everybody goes through something. We all do. We all go through some stuff. But the people who go through and make it out and stay in for the long haul are those who keep their business to themselves. Real talk. You might share with some people because you just can't keep it to yourself. And if that's your thing, that's your thing. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you might share with somebody about something that your partner did, your spouse, your wife, your husband did, or whatever. And then you may have the heart to take them back, or, to forgive them, or whatever the case may be about the situation when it's all said and done. And then your family or your girlfriend or your homeboy or your homegirl might be on the sideline like, what the hell? Like, what's really good? They don't know the love that you have in your heart for that person. They don't know the real stuff that y'all have been through. And I'm not talking about, sticking it out and being through and through with somebody who's being abusive emotionally, verbally, or physically. Like, real talk, if you're in a relationship like that and people are encouraging you to get out of that kind of relationship, then you should, by any means necessary, because I don't support domestic violence, whether it be from the female or the male. It happens. It's real life. But at the end of the day, if you can't come to agreement to learn how to communicate and express yourself in a better way, other than putting your hands on each other, then maybe you need to figure out that ain't the one for you. And that's the other thing about being in relationships. People come and go in their life, but when you find the one, then you should know who that one is. And until that time of people coming and going, you're just learning and growing. And a lot of times people don't take into consideration the growth and experience of themselves and the growth and experience of their spouse. Sometimes the spouse has, either partner, I'm not just going to say the spouse, but either partner may have more experience with being in relationships or more experience in life, period, than the other partner. And if that be the case, then when you start encountering trials and tribulations, you can't just automatically expect for that person to be on your level if they weren't on your level from the beginning. Like, they may have been on your level for enough for you to meet them and for y'all to be in a relationship, but actually having the experiences that you've had in life. Well, they might not have had the same experiences. Maybe you done been through, a whole bunch of relationships. Might have been with 5, 6, 7, 10 different dudes in real relationships. Who knows? And maybe that person has only been with 2 people. It's really difficult when you get into a relationship and you start taking on the ideas, thoughts, and antics of other people. It's really best if you keep it private to yourself. And I'm speaking from experience, not in one situation, but in many. Sometimes life will present you with different circumstances and situations and experiences and allow you to go through and grow through them. So know that if you're going to be in a relationship, you got to know that you're going to go through some shit. Real talk. Being in relationships is work. A marriage is work. And I say relationships, and I equate relationships just as much as I equate marriage, because marriage these days in this society is nothing but just a piece of paper. If you've been with someone and you're soulfully connected with them, and you've exchanged body fluids, and you know what I'm saying, and y'all have soulfully connected, you married. You married with people you ain't even married to on paper if you really connected with them like that. That's why it's important that we be mindful of ourselves, and knowing our bodies, knowing our temples and everything, because you can connect with people on whole other levels if you're not careful, and be mixed up with some soul ties. But that's a whole nother conversation for another Soulspiration. What we are focusing on today is relationships and the importance of staying in your lane within your own relationship. You're going to go through some stuff. It's going to be some hard times. It's going to be some rough times, but you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to be faithfully committed. You have to be willing to go through the challenges. You have to be willing to communicate. You have to be willing to be a partner and work with your partner, going through, building together. You're supposed to add to one another and build each other up and make each other greater, not sit on the sidelines and just receive and not reciprocate. That's not what relationships are about, in my opinion. So, whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat, is that if you're good with just receiving and your partner is just good with just giving, and you don't get or give anything back, then that's y'all. But I don't operate like that. So in order for us to be in a sacred place, there has to be a point of agreement. You have to agree with your partner about everything. And when I say agree, I mean in spirit and in truth. That doesn't mean that you become a yes man or a yes woman and just be like, okay, okay, okay. No, what I'm saying is you need to agree in spirit about the things that are important, your morals, the foundation of your life and your being. And there are going to be times when you disagree. Cool, because you're not the same person. You're two different individuals. But in that moment of disagreements, you need to be able to agree to disagree and hear each other out and move past that. There has to be a time of coming together when you're not angry and upset. Arguments will always arise and come forth. But talking it out during a heated moment is not always the best answer. You got to be able to be mature enough to say, you know what, this is not the good or the best time for us to discuss this. How about we discuss it later? Walk away, leave it, let it go. You got to be able to, excuse me, you got to be able to know when to share with your partner and when to withhold. And that don't mean you just keeping secrets. That just means you're doing what's the best interest for your relationship. And you might be one of the people who tell your partner every single thing. Ain't nothing wrong with that. If that works for y'all, great, do it. That don't work for me. I'm just telling you, I'm just keeping it real. And once you put your business out there in the streets, once you've been told your homegirl or your homeboy or whatever what's going on, you got to deal with that. You got to deal with what's going to come after. Once you've been told your mama or your daddy, and then everybody want to be dipping and dabbling in your marriage or your relationship, you got to deal with that because you did it. So, in hindsight, from my experiences, the best thing for you to do is keep your business to yourself. Keep it off social media. Keep it out your mouth with other people, unless you're seeing a therapist. Real talk. Because Black people need to get back into counseling sessions and seeking help for themselves and getting therapy. Because it's important for us to have great, well, mental health being, right? It's good for us to have mental health. So I said a lot, but I hope I said something that you guys understand and can really get something from, because I'm being quick, but I'm trying to be in a place of expressing everything that really needs to be expressed. So, yeah. The greatest of all this, because I've been reflecting, I'll give you an example. I usually give examples during the Soulspirations, but I'll give you an example. And this example is going to seem maybe menial to some, but pretty big maybe to other people. So I'll give you an example of a couple. Maybe I'll give you two examples. No, I'll give you one. Okay, anyway. The example is Jay-Z and Beyonce. Okay. I equate myself to being very much like Beyonce because she's a queen and so am I. She's a Virgo and so am I. You got to know yourself. And when you know yourself, you know yourself. And, you know, a lot of times people will say, well, their whole relationship is just a whole big publicity stunt. At some point I used to believe that, but then stuff got real. You know, people go through stuff, real life stuff. Infidelity is real. Men cheat, women cheat. Women cheat probably better than men do, but that's just keeping it 100. Stuff happens. But when it happens, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the end. You know, people might cheat in relationships and somebody might say, well, once a cheater, always a cheater. Okay, that might be you saying that from the outside looking in. But if you're not in that situation and you're not the one who has loved that person or is loving that person, then you can't speak for what that person should be doing with inside that relationship. Infidelity it's not right, but we experience it. For those who take part of it, that's what happens. We can be remorseful about it. We can ask for forgiveness. And for those who have to experience it on the receiving end, we can also be forgiving. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to hurt. That doesn't mean that we're going to forget. That doesn't mean that we're not going to show you who we really are when you cross us. Like, infidelity is a form of betrayal, you know, and I'm one of them people, like, I'll be loyal to you. I keep it real all the time, as much as I possibly can. But when you get on my bad side, when you betray me, oh, baby, that ain't what you want. And I'm just keeping it real. And that's from any end of the spectrum. Inside of a relationship, in a friendship, in a work situation, just real. Family, just real. Don't cross me, because I'm not that one. So anyway, Jay-Z and Beyonce's relationship has really inspired me. It's inspired me to understand the true depths of moguls, the true depths of business, the true depths of love, the true depths of hatred, the true depths of confusion, and getting past all of that. Seeking spirituality, finding out who you really are, embracing your queenship and your kingship, and rocking with it, and not letting nobody deter you from what the ultimate goal is, which is to be successful, not just in life, but in love. So everybody could look at Jay-Z and Beyonce and be like, oh, they're the perfect couple. Okay, in your book, maybe. But there's that kind of couple out there represented in many communities, everywhere. Damn, I'm one of them. Look, whether you know it or not, I'm a queen. So I'm just saying, it's important for us to know who we are. It's important for you to go into a relationship being whole. A lot of times, a lot of us grew up in families where we didn't have no true representation of what a real couple would look like or should look like. You know, no good marriages to look at. You know, if y'all can hear my cat, he's whining. Just ignore it. But anyway, some of us just didn't have that good role model, you know, or good role models to look forward to. Like when I was young growing up, my version of what a couple should look like was a TV family. I'm talking about Florida Evans and her husband and James Evans. I'm talking about Bill Cosby and Claire Huxtable. You know, well, the Huxtables. That's who I had to look up to. Did I have my own mama and daddy? No, my mom and my daddy was married at some point, but they divorced before I even could be like 5 years old or something like that. They was divorced. So I didn't have no couple within my arm's reach to really see real. And even the stuff that I did see, it's a lot of dysfunction. And I didn't realize how much dysfunction it was until I became an adult myself and I started to learn some stuff. So for those people who never had the opportunity or experience to see what real love looked like, and even though that was real love for maybe their parents or their uncles and aunts, your love might not look like that. Your love might look different. Because your love is different, does that make you wrong or right or not right? No. Everybody is different. Everybody's love is different. We all learn how to love differently. But the most important thing is to learn to love yourself first. And when I said it's important for you to be whole going into a relationship, it really is, because if you're already broken or you're halfway together entering into a relationship, then it's going to take more work inside that relationship for you to become whole. And this is the secret that most people don't know. And many people won't tell you because they don't know and they still trying to figure it out themselves. You attract what you are. You attract who you are. You attract where you are. Wherever you are in your soul journey of finding your true self and becoming who you are, that's what you're going to attract. If you vibrating low, you're going to attract somebody who's vibrating low. What do I mean by that? If you just recently was being a player, okay, I'm gonna give y'all a little insight on my own experiences. Okay, I never really been faithful to a man. Real talk. I ain't gonna tell y'all my age, but as long as I've been in the game, dating, marrying, all this, that, and the third, I ain't been faithful. I ain't think I had it in me to be faithful, because I was just like, I'm gonna do what I do. I love doing what I do. I love being me. I'm a free spirit. I want to do me. That's what I want to do. But at somewhere along the line, I started seeing my friends and my family getting married and everybody all booed up, and I was just like, that looked kind of cute. Maybe I'll try that. So I did. And then when I started trying, I was like, it ain't really for me. I don't know about this. But I was still trying it. I was still working it out. So what I realized for myself was that I had been with a whole lot of different people and had a whole lot of different experiences. And then a lot of the people that I was encountering was kind of like me. Like they had been through a whole lot of stuff and had their own little experiences and everything. But I hadn't met the one yet that really challenged me and met me where I was up until about 5 years ago. So then about that time, I decided, okay, and I'm just keeping it real with y'all. I ain't sharing no more than I want to share. Believe that. Because you can't share too much. You can't be too transparent, right? Okay, whatever. I decided for myself that I wanted to be free. I wanted to be me. I wanted to finally learn what it was like to love me. So I started on that journey. And in the midst of me starting on that journey, I met somebody during a time when I really needed somebody to be there for me. And I had been with a whole lot of different people. They had rocked with me for a little while. But when I really needed somebody to be there, wasn't nobody around but this one particular person. And so when this one particular person came on the scene and we was rocking and we was rolling together, in the beginning, everything was all good. And I saw everything that I needed to see in that moment, because everything in that moment reflected me. And so I decided within my heart and my mind and my soul and my being, okay, this is the one. I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep it 100, and I'm going to be faithful. So that's what I did. Now, in the midst of me doing that, all that stuff that I used to do, karma is real. Y'all know. Now, karma is real. It's the law of the universe. Whatever you put out, it's going to come back to you. So all that stuff that I was doing before, when I was in previous relationships and marriages, where I was just doing whatever I wanted to do, it came back. That's all I'm going to say. You can figure it out. In the midst of it being that way, I still had to make up in my mind and decide for myself what it is and what it was and what it was going to be. What I had to realize is that everybody's journey, individual journey, whether you with somebody in a relationship or not, everybody's journey is still individual. It just becomes collective when you get in a relationship with somebody. But for the most part, your life journey is individual. And it's a lot of stuff that people got to learn and grow through. And when you take on the position of being in someone's life as their partner, you have become a part of their journey, and they have become a part of yours. And just because you've become a part of somebody's journey or they become a part of yours does not mean that they're still not journeying and growing through what their journey is. So I had to realize that a lot of what I was experiencing with my partner wasn't really about me, even though it was presented to me as karma, because that's what it was. But their journey and their experience wasn't about me. Their journey and their experience is about them and their growth and what they're going through. And so within that, I had to dig deeper within myself to find me and what my purpose is and what my journey is all about. And what about this love that I'm professing and this love that I'm giving? And this is why I'm telling you, you got to keep people out your business. You can't be telling everybody everything. Because one minute, speaking for myself, you'll feel one way, and the next minute, you'll feel another way. It's all love. That's what love is. It has you going up and down, around corners, back and forth, in and out. That's love. That's what it does. But when you find yourself in a true place of being real to you and being real to your partner, and you find that common ground where you both can communicate and begin to build a foundation regardless of what the world tries to tell you what your relationship should look like. That's the other problem. That's why people need to stay off of social media, always looking at everybody else. Oh, Joe and Kat got this and this. Stop looking at other people. Stop comparing your relationship to theirs. You ain't them. They ain't you. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know the hell that they go through. People will look at me and my husband be like, damn, y'all dope. We want to be just like you. You don't know the hell we go through. You don't know what the hell I done been through. You don't know what the hell he done been through with me. Like, real talk. Stop wishing that you had somebody else's stuff, because you don't know what the hell you wishing for. Really. But anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox on that. I just wanted to express to y'all today about love, relationships, the importance of communicating and being in agreement with your partner. You know, and if you find yourself in a relationship with a partner, with a husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and you realize that you are growing out of that relationship, because it happens. Yes, it does, because some people are just in our lives for a season, you know, to teach us, to help us learn some things. But you got to know you, and you got to be willing to do the work within yourself and within that relationship to really find out the truth. You know, is that person in your life for the long haul, or are they there just to teach you, just to help you grow and groom you for the next position, for the next dimension and plane? What is it really about? You got to know that. Because ain't nobody else gonna know it but you. If anybody would have told me 13 years ago that Mary J. Blige and Ken Do would have been divorced today, I would have looked at them like they were stupid, just like that. Because in the beginning, it was all gravy. But somewhere along the line, it just went sour. Like, stuff just happened. And don't nobody really know but them two what really happened. Don't nobody know the pain. I mean, Mary could sing about it and tell you about it all day, but you don't know it. When I say know, I mean being in the side of the soul of that being and knowing it. Only she knows her pain. Only she knows the sorrow that she felt up in that relationship. And only he knows the pain and the sorrow that he may feel about it having to end. Even though he might be looking like, oh, well, I got that bread up out of it. Money can't buy you love. He could be getting a check from her every month, but still be empty on the inside because he ain't got that love that she was giving him. That's real talk. So, back to Jay-Z and Beyonce. They have become my favorite couple to look at because they exemplify to me real love. On the outside looking in, like I don't know what the hell they got going on the inside, but for as much as I can really see in what they are allowing to be displayed to the world. And that's the other thing. You can't show everybody everything. You can't tell everybody everything. You can't show everybody everything. It's nice to share some moments, but this is how society then got us caught up. They want y'all to show pictures. They want you to show locations. They want you to tell everything. Everything ain't meant to be told. Some stuff you got to keep it to yourself because you could be sharing too much and then the next brother or the next sister looking like, I wonder what that would look like on me. And when you get weak, it's a moment of vulnerability and an opportunity for somebody to slide in. And if your connection with your partner is not tight, if that's not your ride or die, if that's not your best friend, then somebody gonna be slipping in. Real talk. I'm just keeping it gangster. So, today, relationships. Let me find my phone so I can read what I posted so y'all can know. If y'all ain't on Facebook, y'all can just know what I posted today because I really want you to know that it's really important. This Soulspiration is about relationships today, and it's really important for us to know who we are, to be whole within our relationships, and not become dependent upon our partner, and not allow our partner to become dependent upon us in an aspect where we can't be independent alone. What I posted today, this morning, on my personal Facebook page was simply this. It's never too late to fight for what's rightfully yours. Real love. Real love takes strength, courage, wisdom, and two, the path of commitment and relationship is not for everyone. And when I say this, I mean it so dearly. It is not for everybody to be in a relationship. I don't care what you say. It's not for everybody to be in a relationship. Know your lane and stay the course. No matter what the people say. Power couples go through ish you ain't even never thought of. Real talk. And that's what I'm saying. We could see Jay-Z and Beyonce all day on the cover of magazines and clips from TMZ and this, that, and the third from what is being shown. But we don't really know what the hell they're going through. Only they know. Just like you can see people posting stuff about their marriage and how their relationship is and stuff online, but you don't really know the stuff that they're going through. So, focus on your own relationship. Focus on your own self. And know that the most important thing about relationships, number one, love, commitment, and agreement. If you ain't got no love for that person, then you shouldn't be in a relationship with them. Because, well, partnership in a relationship is not just about money. If you can't rock it with that person when they ain't got no money, then that ain't love. Real talk. If you can't be there for the person when they have all the money and then when they come down and they on hard times, then maybe you need to check yourself and figure out what your morals in life is based upon. Money cannot buy you true happiness. It cannot buy you love. It cannot buy you joy. It can buy you some things, but the very essence of joy, love, and happiness cannot be bought. That is only something that can truly be given from one soul to another. So I have exhausted my time for today. I've enjoyed sharing with you. I hope you have gotten something from this. I never get on just to run my mouth. No, that's not what I do. I want to be here as a servant, because that's what I am. I'm a healer to the nations, whether it be through my words, through my actions, through my living. That is who I am. That is what I have become. That is my true self. And when you begin to know who you truly are, then you can exude your essence into the universe and then begin to attract like-minded and like soul beings. And that's when you begin to do that, that's the most beautifulest thing in the world. Like Keith Murray said, yeah. Just like that. It's the most beautifulest thing in the world. Love on yourself. And if you're not in a relationship right now, know this. Love yourself first. Become whole first. And when that special one comes along, be ready to commit to go through. Because there's valleys, high and low, dark and light. And if you ain't ready for it, if you ain't about that life, then stay out of relationships. Because really, they call you to grow higher, for things to get exposed in you that you might have not even known about. You might have been a little girl who was molested and didn't have her daddy in her life, was seeking for love in all the wrong places most of all her life, and then here comes along this guy who wants to love you the right way, but he still got some issues. And those issues that he got may bring up the pain inside of you to make you realize that you got to do some work within yourself. But then at the same time, there may be some other qualities about that being that might actually help to heal your wounds and your scars from your past. And you might be able to be that for that person. The bottom line is, my friends, relationships take work, whether it's marriage, whether it's a partnership, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, let's get to know one another, whatever. It's going to take some work. And you got to know when to draw the line. You got to have boundaries. You got to be able to respect one another. You got to be real with one another. You have to be honest. You need to be able to be compassionate. If infidelity should ever come up, you need to be able to know your limits. Can you deal with it or can you not? Are they remorseful? Remorseful. Are they or are they not? When they say they're sorry, are they really sorry? Is their heart wanting to do the right thing and you can see that it's a struggle for them? Because if it is, then be supportive and help them out. Pray for them. Because the truth of the matter is, infidelity is it's a spirit. It's not something that might be going too deep for some of y'all, but it is what it is. It's not something that just happens. Some people don't want to let it go. They don't want to, experience life without infidelity. They like living that lifestyle. They like having 2 people or 3 or 4 or whatever the case may be all the time. They like living that life. But if they like living that life and they want to be a polygamist or whatever they call it, then they need to be with other people who like that. Real talk. So they can live that life and enjoy living that life. Not trying to be with somebody who really wants to be in a monogamous relationship. I mean, come on. It's not that complicated of, a topic to figure out. Either you like it or you don't. And if the person that you want to be with wants to be in a monogamous relationship and deep down inside you ain't ready for that, then don't waste their time. Because that's rude. Okay, the teacher was coming out in me. Let me go. Anyways, it's been a great Soulspiration with you guys today. Thank you for joining in. Remember to check out my Queen Kenya page, and I'll be reposting this live on my Queen Kenya page. You can go back and watch several Soulspirations from before. Let me take my glasses off real quick so y'all can see me like that. Yeah. I always like to be without my glasses. I have such a glare on the screen when I have my glasses on, but I gotta have this to see. So anyway, I want to thank everybody who joined in. My sister Veronica, my brother and my best friend, one of my besties, Vaughn, my cousin and fan for life, April, my Kia, Suki, my fam, Val, thank you for joining in. Thank you to everybody, and for those who are going to watch the rebroadcast later, thank you. Love, peace, love, and light to everybody. I hope you got something from this, and do know that everything ain't always what it seems, and everything that glitters is not gold. But if you find yourself in a relationship and you realize that you love that being, then love them. Trust yourself and know who you are within that relationship, but make sure that it's being reciprocated. Don't let nobody punk you. Don't let nobody dog you. Don't let nobody play you. If they want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, speaking of that infidelity piece, let them do it. Find a way to pick up the pieces to your heart and keep it moving, because true love awaits for everyone who desires it. I said relationships are not for everybody. And that's for those people who don't want to be committed. That's for those people who want to be with a whole bunch of different people and who want to be, you know, out there being a player or whatever. That's for them. But if you truly desire to be with one person, then there's somebody out there for you, waiting on you to love you the same way you would love them. Again, it's been real. I've enjoyed you. Thank you for your time. Peace and blessings. Peace, love, and light. I'm out. Bye, guys.